Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, brothers and sisters. I hope that the break has not taken you away from some of the key issues that we've been talking about. And as I said when we went for the break, we're coming to a very interesting part of the discussion. Some huge issues around extremism and radicalization and the appointment of the Tsar, as they used to call them before, to tackle some of these issues. But I want to park that aside for the time being, because that in itself is a huge topic of discussion and debate within the Muslim community, and inshallah one day we'll come back to it and we'll talk about it maybe very soon, about how this will impact the Muslim community and what the Muslim community's response should be to how the government is developing this particular agenda. I would like to come back and focus on my two colleagues and friends who are here. Ibrahim, obviously, Brother Ibrahim, who is the General Manager of the Khidmat Center, who is directly responsible for the provision of services. And as you explained to us, you have a wide range of services that you provide at the moment, all of them extremely desperately needed and valued within the community. But moving forward, knowing what is happening within our communities at the moment, the struggles that people are going through within their own lives, what do you see as some of the key aspects that we as a Muslim community, not just in Bradford, but across the whole of the country, that we should be looking at, that are important in your view?
I guess the services which we provide, Iqbal Sahab, are just a drop in the ocean. Absolutely, there's so much more to be done and to be provided for our Muslim community locally and nationally. So what we currently provide, which is social daycare provision for the elderly, the learning disability project which we have, and the services which we provide are just a drop in the ocean. The Muslim women resettlement work, rehabilitation work which we do, are absolutely a drop in the ocean, if that. Obviously what we need to look at is some of the other challenges which are facing the Muslim community at large, locally and nationally. And some of the ones which we were alluding to earlier and sharing is one which is the hospice, the terminally ill children. What care, what provision are we providing as Muslim community for those very needy, terminally ill children of ours? Who are now being looked after and cared by somebody else in the country. That's one challenge, one aspect of work which you need to look at and concentrate on maybe and to develop. The second one is looking at residential. We know there's an aging population, our elders are aging. We need to look at maybe a residential for our elders.
Residential care home for our elderly people. Yeah.
The financial pressures and constraints on our young couples are so much enormous, and the lifestyle has changed.
Yes.
The goalposts have moved. The fabric of our community, the demographics of our community has changed significantly. So clearly there's another need, which is to look after our elderly in the best possible way possible. So residential care home is another area which we need to consider and to develop.
I mean, are we seeing more and more elderly people becoming more isolated because their children have got other pressures, unfortunately? So,
and currently we provide a service, which is a daycare service. So we actually bring them into our centre, provide the services they require, and then take them back home. But there are others where they need maybe 7 days care, for example. And we know from our research, from our contacts, there are Muslim elders who are in care already, in care residential homes, provided by other services and other provisions. So that's another area which we need to look at and develop as a community. And the other one which we need to look at maybe is, I think we talked about earlier, is fostering. Where do our Muslim children who are taken into care have been looked after? Are they looked after by Muslim parents and families, or are they looked after by somebody else? It's another area which concerns us and should do as a community, as a Muslim community.
Well, definitely. I mean, I totally agree with you. And I've come across very, very few Muslim people who are agreed and have become foster carers, and have adopted children. And the government and the institutional organizations have been crying out for people to come forward, to become foster parents and to adopt children. I mean, this is an issue I think, we do not talk about within our community. I think people sometimes, because they don't want to talk, they don't want to know about it, they don't really think about it, they don't even consider it as an issue. But if you look at the number of Muslim children who are in foster care for all sorts of reasons, you know, if you really know the figure, inshallah one day we'll come back to it. We'll bring a specialist who is involved in this field and give us all the details and the data that we need. The number of Muslim children who are in foster care and how they're being looked after, they're being cared for, and the impact it has on those children in terms of their Islamic identity is something that we should all be concerned about. So thank you for bringing that to attention again.
In terms of children in care in Bradford,
yes,
I can share with you when we had a discussion with the authority not that long ago, we're looking at hundreds.
So and hundreds of Muslim children in Bradford?
No, the total number.
Right.
And quite a sizable chunk of those are Muslim children. Yes.
I mean, this is a huge issue for us.
There's a huge issue.
Yeah. And there is a very significant gap between the number of children and Muslim foster parents.
Yes. Well, I think what we need to do is one day come back to this issue, and the sooner we can do it, the better. Because, you know, the benefits of fostering, for example, both for the parents and for the children themselves, you know, within their culture, within their own religion. And I think this is an issue that we have swept under the carpet. I think it's an issue that we need to talk about, an issue about how our young children are growing up in an environment which is not sometimes conducive to those who are of faith. So one day, inshallah, we'll come back. I've been told it's time to end this program. We're coming to the end of the program. I hope, brothers and sisters, you found this interesting. I certainly have learned quite a lot from Brother Ibrahim and Brother Ishtiaq, people that I have enormous amount of respect for. I hope you've learned something, and I hope it's inspired you. Jazakallah khair. May Allah be with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.